Welcome to the Franchise Woman Podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged. I'm Rebecca Monet, CEO and Chief Scientist at Zoracle Profiles. Many of you might have noticed Tracy's not with me today. She will be back next week. However, we got some incredible guests for you today. Our special guests are Aussie Petmobile franchisee Sharon Odor. Did I pronounce that right, hon?
Shannon Odor, yes. Shannon.
And, and of course, our daughter, Ashley. For 17 years, Shannon has built her mobile pet grooming business in Tucson. As the business approaches decades of success, her daughter, Ashley, and her husband, Rylan, are transitioning to take over the family business, ensuring that the tradition of pampering pets continues. So obviously, I want to learn everything about how you work together, how you're going to transition, what you've learned, all of that. But in the meantime, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's so good to have you guys here. So Shannon, let's go backwards, okay? Let's
Okay.
go back 17 years and tell me what drew you to Aussie Petmobile.
You bet. 17 years. Let me see. Ashley, I think was maybe 9. And then my son was 7. So we moved here from Seattle. My husband's job brought us down to Tucson, Arizona. And when the kids came, I transitioned from the family business I had been in for 19 years, which was retail sales and music, and actually taught preschool to be with them for a while. And after 4 or 5 years, I said to my husband, I said, you know, these kids make me exhausted. I really want to go back into my business career, but I want to be there for the kids. So one of my friends' brother-in-law was a franchise broker. And I said, oh, wow, let's go look at that. I said to my husband, I said, I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I did that with the family business, way back when for 19 years. And it was hard, trying to get everything all set. So let's look at franchises. So we did. And I knew for sure I did not want to go back into retail because I didn't want to be doing the holidays. I didn't want to be counting inventory after the holidays. So we were looking at some service stuff, and I was in the music industry. So we delivered pianos, and we were going into homes and guitars and band instruments. So part of the going into the home thing, I thought, okay, I don't want to have, drop a tool on travertine and have to repair that. Let's look at something that's not quite so, maybe like closet building or something like. We looked at something else.
Yeah.
And way back in junior high, I was looking at going into veterinarian school. And then we kind of ran across the mobile pet grooming business. And I'm like, I really love pets. I've had dogs, I've had cats. I have a business degree in marketing. Let's look at this a little bit more. So that's what led me into Aussie Petmobile. So
Wow. I like that you mentioned this, you don't want to reinvent the wheel, right?
correct.
Having been through it, you know the amount of time, money, and energy that it takes to do that. And that really is one of the great benefits of franchising, no doubt. So in your early days, Shannon, um, was there anything that really tested your resolve, um, and kind of made the commitment even stronger, let's say, or fall in love with the business more?
Uh, you know, it was 2008 and the economy was kind of bad.
Mhm.
And a groomer called out, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we really need these funds. The economy is terrible. I'm going to just go out and groom. And that was my first, I've been on the van with the groomers, but it was my first real experience dealing with the clients one-on-one. And it's a real intimate thing going into the homes with the clients and their family and their pets and their kids and their spouses and sometimes their parents. And it's an intimate thing for sure. And you really over time get to know them. I mean, some clients have been with us since the beginning and on their third or second, maybe even generation of pet. So it's, they've called me when their pet passes and we're crying together over the telephone. So it's an extremely intimate thing and you wouldn't think it is, but it really, really is. And that's really, you know, just got that passion going even more for the business once you really get into it. It's pretty amazing. So
So, intimate. I love that word because it really is intimate.
mhm.
So it goes even beyond just the relationship with the pet, right? But to the families, you become part of the family, they become part of your family. So it's a very emotional, very intimate
It
situation.
is. Yeah, because not only do we have to deal with the loss of a pet for us and a client, but we also talk to the owners who have losses in their family. So we're really close to the clients. It's a very nice thing. So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay, Ashley, you're barely 17. We're just a little over it. You grew up in the business. What was your experience as a child watching your mom run this business?
Um, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Like when I look back at it, I was young, so I didn't truly understand like the challenges that my parents were facing with the business, especially starting it in 2008. But now that I'm older and reflecting on it, like it's really incredible, um, what my mom was able to build with this business. Um, I have been involved in it since she started it in one way or the other. I was hanging door hangers on like strangers' doors when I was like 7 years old. And, I was listening to my mom talk to the clients and helping her, pick up the vans when one broke down or something like that. So I've truly just been watching her for a very long time and kind of gave me an advantage going, really into it now, just kind of watching her all these years.
This is the way, when you go back generations, guys, this is the way things used to be done, right? You were raised in a family that had a blacksmithing business or a bakery or whatever, and the children were there with their fathers and their mothers learning the business. But in the last several decades, it's been about get a medical degree, become a lawyer, an engineer, whatever it is, go through that and so entrepreneurship wasn't first choice for many, many of us growing up. So Ashley, for you, um, was there any pulling? Did you know you were going to go into this business, or did you have other plans for your life that you decided against?
I definitely did not anticipate getting into the business like this. I love what I do. I love my job. I wake up every morning excited to start the day. But I was going to school to become an exercise physiologist. So I got my master's degree in exercise physiology, and the plan was to continue into cardiac rehab. And as I was finishing up my degree, my mom offered me an official position because I'd kind of worked for her off and on throughout the years. When I turned 16, I was put on the grooming truck um, to bathe dogs. So I've done it all from bathing the dogs to, quoting the clients over the phone to, doing payroll now. Um, and as I was, finishing up and she offered me this position and kind of told me what she envisioned for the business and us taking over, there wasn't really, a second thought to it. I went home and talked to my husband about it, and he was just like, you love the business, you love your job. Like, I don't see why you wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it's not what I went to school for, but having his support and really solidified that decision, like, yeah, I want to stay with this and I want to eventually take over and continue what my mom's built. And now I have a little one who I always
Yeah,
joke about
right.
she'll come out of the womb quoting dogs. So
Yeah, yeah.
so I have that kind of hope for her where, she kind of falls in love with it like I do and can continue what we're building together.
A beautiful legacy. Okay, so Shannon, I have to ask,
Mhm.
what was it in Ashley that you saw that you knew she had to take that position and then over time
Yeah,
take over the business?
she was in high school and I had some kind of conflict. I can't remember what it was. I said, God, I have to go do this and I don't know what to do. I can't answer the phones. It's been really busy. And Ash is like, Mom, I can do it. I think you were maybe 16, Ash. You weren't very old. I'm like, okay. So I'm like standing in the landing over here and the door is open and she answers the phone. Aussie Petmobile, this is Ashley. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she sounds like my ditto over the telephone. I can't believe it. I mean, just automatically, she's just heard me year after year after year talk to the client. I mean, she just instantly took over it. It was just like, yeah, it was amazing, and both the kids have been in the business over the years. And she did dispatching, she bathed, she did dispatching while in college on the weekends. She covered. Um, and she's getting out of college and she did some physical therapy tech for a
Mhm.
while, and they're just not getting paid hardly anything. And I'm just like,
Ouch. Yeah.
you've got all these student loans to pay. And then I'm like, for us to keep growing, I need extra help. Let me just see if she wants to dive into this. And so, we both thought about it, and she said, yeah, not a problem, in a heartbeat. She jumped on
Wow.
it. I was pretty surprised by it, but pleased at the same time.
When my
I
mom offered me like the position, she's like, I want to make $1 million next year. And so I told her, I was like, we're gonna make $1 million next year, and we did. So
Wow. So
Yep.
you put your heads together that way.
Yes.
It's that old when two are gathered together kind of thing, and you're really
Mhm.
focusing on a particular outcome. In this case, it was a financial outcome. We can get so much done together that we can't alone. Ashley, you have this background in medicine and worldly experiences also. When you look at what's happening now and what you're seeing in the future, how are you seeing some of those things coming in? Are you more innovative than maybe mom, or do you have some out of the box ideas? Um, what are you thinking you can bring from the outside world to the pet grooming world?
so while my background is in medicine, I feel like, going through my previous jobs and the schooling that I went through, like it really did teach me a lot. It taught me a lot of determination and, resilience. And, if it doesn't work one way, let's come up with another way to accomplish it, especially as I was working in physical therapy. If someone can't do something a certain way, you kind of have to adapt and modify and be able to also teach those modifications to people. So the nice thing about working with my mom is, we both have a very similar mindset, but we like to do things differently. So kind of being able to bounce ideas off of each other has been really crucial in growing this business over the last couple of years. And I just want to I want to keep that going. I want to keep growing and expanding and trying different things. And, not everything we try is going to work out, but whatever sticks, we'll continue doing. My husband is also ready to get into this with me. He's a very tech savvy handyman kind of guy, so he's gonna really help me out with the vans because I'm definitely not a mechanic. So, and that's something my mom had too, with my dad being an engineer, is he was able to really help her with the vans, and he still is now. But they're definitely ready for us to take over, so they don't really have to worry about the vans quite as much.
One last thing on your plate there, Shannon. I want to highlight something you said. as a behavioral scientist, we measure a ton of different psychographic markers, one of which is around grit. Both of you have it. Both of you have it. And you use the word adaptability, that in physiotherapy, if this doesn't work, we try another way. If that doesn't work, we go this way. We're not on a single path. And that really is a lot of what you are bringing, is another view of something, and this adaptability, which, by the way, is one of several grit markers. So, and that takes me back to our pre-show conversation, Shannon, when I, uh, asked you about kind of a purpose or a passion that you have, and you mentioned, you're one of those people that, how did you say, you just get in there and make it happen kind of thing. Can you elaborate a little bit on that for
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm doing this for 17 years, man. Like Ashley said, every day is a challenge. It's mobile. We're out there. We're going to different places every day, seeing different people every day, seeing different pets every day, and you do learn to adapt quickly. But yeah,
me?
it's just it's having this business starting with the bad economy. It was fairly recession proof, thank goodness, but the challenges that hit every single day were different. I mean, we had a flat tire. Gosh, we still have to get 6 more dogs done. How do we do it? Call my husband home from work and go out there and change the flat, call the tow. We have to find many different avenues to make the answers
Hmm.
get fixed, answered. I've repaired pumps out in the middle of the day in the field myself, because we have to get through the day. We have to make this money. It was a hard economy. It's not like I had 7 vans at the time. I had 1 van when we first
Wow.
started, and that 1 van is your livelihood. And, now we have 7 vans, and I tell all these groomers at the meeting, these vans feed all of us. They feed our families, they feed our kids, they feed us. They are important to us. We have to take care of these vans. So, 17 years of doing this, you learned how to find an answer to all these issues, to make them better, to adapt again, to make the next phase of growing from the $1 million to $1.5 million better, to go from van 7 to van 8 and 9 this year. So it's just constantly growing and pushing. And Ashley and we might disagree sometimes, but we say, Ashley's reply to me is, Mom, let me marinate on it tonight. We'll get back tomorrow and reprocess everything again. So yeah.
Oh, and that's the interesting part when we bring anyone in, family in particular. We hope they bring a fresh look or have their ideas and can push boundaries, but at the same time, this is working and this is my baby kind of thing. It's kind of hard to let go. But I love that term, marinate on it. You just sit and marinate on it, and the next day you figure out a way to come to terms with whatever you're disagreeing on,
Whatever
right?
issue we have. Yeah, exactly. So
Oh my gosh, I love that. So when I think about, this idea of transitioning to the next generation, how are you managing that? Are there very distinct roles that you're playing? Is it something you're going to do over a period of time, or how does that work?
yeah, right now we have it broken out a little bit. We've got a staff of 15 or 16, and there's 4 in the office. And then myself would be 5, and then we have 8 to 10 or 11 groomers. Ashley is basically, she's handling all the operations right now. She's getting the handbooks laid out. She's got the office staff doing their thing, scheduling appointments like crazy.
Mm.
We've done a lot of handbooks and policies as we grow to make sure we have all the I's dotted and T's crossed. I've been working with the groomers a lot and with the vans a lot, having 7 vans. There's lots of tiny little maintenance that's always got to be done. And then if we have issues, we go to the guys and ask for, we need help. What should we do? So that's kind of how it is. So the guys off screen there, they always get the second opinion on things sometimes if we can't quite decide on issues that we've got. But eventually Ashley will move into the finances a little bit more and make sure she has the whole task of everything figured out. And just keep growing, setting those goals and pushing forward. So
it's kind of cool that you've broken it down that way, because actually that gives you an opportunity to master one role, and then you learn another role, you master that role, and so forth and so on. But by being each of those roles, when the time comes and you hire people for those roles, you'll know kind of where your love is, right? Where you're using the best, I call it highest and best use of talent. So,
Absolutely.
but you know all of it. So you're not going in blind like many of
Mhm.
us do when we buy a business. You are going in empowered. Now, you mentioned Ashley Rylan,
Mhm.
and when he becomes part of this business, hey, Riley, hi, baby
She's
girl.
saying hi.
Oh my gosh. Um, what's your hope there? He will come on full time. Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, the thought there is he's going to come in full time. Well, right now we live about an hour and a half away from Tucson. So it it's
It's fine.
challenging in that regard where, I can't really physically be there to help my mom in every aspect. But we will be moving down to Tucson in a couple years. And when we make that move is when my husband will be coming on full time. And he's going to be, managing the vans. Now that we have 7 vans, and probably by the time we move down there, we'll have about 10 plus vans. That's a lot of maintenance and keeping track of things that right now might be getting missed because it's really just my mom down there that is doing all of that and trying to manage that, and it's a lot for her when she's got so much else on her plate. And as I step more into her role of being the owner, I'll have just as much on my plate. So having his help is going to be wonderful. And it's kind of funny when I met him, I told him, I was like, you're going to be working on our vans in a few years. And sure enough, that is exactly what's going to happen. And he's excited for it. He's ready for a change, and he's very supportive of you know moving all of us down there and you know kind of going into something new.
Yeah. Yay for husbands, huh?
Right?
Shannon, your husband stepping up when needed. They have these mechanical, technical, fix-it minds, right? Where I think we as women have more of the relational minds,
Mhm.
right? Um, so in fact, a question around that. You kind of hit on it, Shannon, earlier about the relationships that are being built with your clients, right? Tell us a story. Tell us a story of a special relationship with a dog or with the family members that really made an impression on you.
oh yeah, it was December. I think I think it was just this last December. I had a client call the office and they wanted to speak to me, and um I was out in the field that day, and so they called my phone and I was training, I think. So I stepped out of the van and I called her, and I said, Paula, what's going on? She goes, oh, Shannon. And she's crying. She goes, I just don't know what to do, but I have to put my little dog down and I just don't know if it's the right time. And I said, your dog will tell you if it's the right time. I said, it's all about her quality of life. And when she doesn't have it anymore, she's going to let you know. And she's just bawling in tears. She just needed somebody to talk to. She didn't have anybody else to talk to and didn't know what to do. And we were on the phone for about 30 minutes. And when she got off the phone, she thanked me, and so that was just one of those moments. And her little dog was around for a little bit longer, but it was just one of those moments where they just needed to talk to somebody. And she's been a client since we opened back in 2008, and here we are, 2024 at the time. And
Wow.
she needed to talk and just kind of know what to do and when was the time to do it. And yeah, so that was one of the very intimate moments I've had over the years, but that was one that sticks with me the most. So
What an interesting role that you played there. It was no longer about grooming.
mhm.
It was about helping someone get through a difficult decision and a difficult situation as she saw her
Mhm.
dog, not up to par, right? But if anyone would understand, it would be you, right? So
Yeah.
she felt comfortable enough to talk with you about it and to get the emotional support that she needed. That
Yeah. And the same thing goes for all of our groomers and our team out in the field too. They get the same dealing with, they get a lot of that dealing with their clients, and they call us and cry and, oh my gosh, or they're excited because the new puppy came and they're calling us and showing us pictures. And yeah, so it's the whole team, even the office staff. We all get the emotions going with the clients over the telephone sometimes, and the tears come, happy and sad. But yeah, it's.
Ah, yeah, I can feel it. I can feel
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's neat.
So you guys seem to have a wonderful bond.
Mhm.
How has working together strengthened that bond or maybe even tested it? And Ashley, I'm going to go to you first. This is mom first and foremost, because it worked for her. And now
Mhm.
you're going to be taking, I mean, you're playing a lot of different roles here, from being a young tyke to who you are today as a young woman raising a family. So how
Mhm.
has it strengthened your relationship and how has it tested your relationship?
Well, my mom and I have always been really close. It's not easy all the time. Like my mom said earlier, we have our moments where we don't always agree on things, and I have to go and marinate on them. Because at first, I might, really disagree, and I'm like, no, I don't think we should do that. But after I kind of sit down and reflect and, just think about it, talk about it with my husband, you know, I come up with, either ideas of how we can implement it. And I really, my mom's been doing this a long time. So, I trust her and I know she knows what she's doing. And part of my job is just helping her implement those things that she really wants to accomplish. And, like I said, my mom and I have always been really close, but working with her, I have a lot of respect for her now more than I ever did before. I mean, it's not easy, and when she was doing this by herself, I don't know how she was doing this by herself, because having other people to really work with to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish is crucial.
Yeah.
And trying to accomplish that independently seems really daunting. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that actually did something for me. Because I'm just thinking of it in terms of she was doing this all along, but when you stepped into the business more full time, right? A appreciation and respect really exploded, right?
absolutely.
Because what your mom and dad went through to build this business is very hard to even fathom, right? To do what she has done. I had my grandson-in-law in my business for about a year and a half, and then launched a business of his own. And recently he has come to me and he said, I cannot tell you how much I learned. I wouldn't have had the courage to do this without you.
Mhm.
Um, and he's just doing phenomenal. But just even in a year and a half of working together, observing, watching, decision making, money, all of that, right, is a big deal. So thank you for sharing that, Ashley.
Yeah.
And Shannon, from your perspective, um, how's it strengthened or tested your relationship with your daughter?
You know, the more soldiers and generals and sergeants standing behind you that you have, the stronger you grow as a group and a company. It's just been really nice to have that, especially as we grow. You have to have that support and that backbone and the people to throw things off of and question, and am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? You know, there's just, yeah, you know, you're dealing with a lot of coworkers' emotions and lives and issues, and it's not just your business you get involved in as you get going. It's just it's
Yeah,
everything. So it's to have those that, you know, those extra people and soldiers and generals and all that in our staff. It's just couldn't do it with any of them. They're all big part of our business. So
for sure. And you see your entire team as that. So that's
absolutely.
pretty amazing.
Mhm.
Okay, just out of curiosity, let's
Mhm.
say you disagree on something. And it has to be a fast decision, Ashley. You don't have time to go and mull on it or marinate on it, I think is what you said. You have to make a decision. Who will win in terms of their ideas? Who will win?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think it's situational.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like if it's something to do with maybe a client complaint, I might push hard on that and kind of come out on top. But if it's something else, something more maybe like staff related, then my mom might win that one.
Okay. So it's more about conviction, what you have a conviction for or knowledge around. So there'll be some, okay, in this case, you win this, and another case, mom, and win is probably a bad word to use. But it just kind of popped into my head. So, um, Shannon, what the heck? What kind of timeline are you on? And what are you going to do? You're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you've built something from nothing, under a brand, the Aussie Petmobile brand. What the heck are you going to do when you can finally just step away?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever step away, honestly. But anyways, I told Ashley I might forever be in the business. I've got a total addiction. I just can't let go of it. So,
Yeah.
no, timeline probably five years, maybe sooner, if things fall well. But and then my husband and I will get out of the heat in the summertime because it's getting hard to tolerate, and we'll go up to Montana, and I'll probably still be saying, "How's everything going? What's the business?" But no, I do. I have a crazy passion for this. I every day is different. Every day is a drive to make things better, and it's hard. It'd be hard. It's going to be hard to step away. It really is. So.
Yeah. What's the opposite of a snowbird? You're leaving the heat, going to something cooler rather than leaving the cold
Yeah,
and
I don't know what you call the traveling north
I'm gonna
people.
look that up. That's kind
I've
of
only
what,
lived in Arizona for almost 20 years, so I couldn't tell you what the North Travelers would be called.
yeah. We're gonna have to make up a name and we'll copyright it and we'll get rich. Do that. So, clearly you have a passion for this business, Shannon, and even though you have a plan, 3 years, 5 years to finally let go and then, do the opposite of snowbirding, um, it still lights you up. It still brings you joy, even today. So it's going to be hard to completely
Yes.
let go. Ashley, what lights you up about the business? What is it that you go, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm so so excited that I get to be a part of it.
It's just really cool seeing, I'm a big numbers person. So the growth in numbers every year, it's exciting. Like my mom said, every day is something new, and
Mm.
it truly is like when I wake up in the morning, like I'm excited to go to work. And that's just enjoying your job and doing what you love is motivating in and of itself. I my mom has worked so hard to build this business. So when I do take over, I feel like there's a lot of pressure there because, it'll be
Yeah,
sustaining both me and my husband. So trying to just continue that growth and, continue to do the great job that we do um, is very, very motivating to me and my husband.
yeah. So, as a daughter transitioning into this business, where at some point in a few years you'll take it over, you and your husband, what advice would you have for someone that's a family member to make this process work? I mean, I see people blow up. I see people with lawsuits. I see professionals, therapists come in and deal with this kind of thing, but it looks like you're doing it beautifully. What advice would you have for others considering this?
Have trust and faith in, your mom or your dad, whoever it is that you're following through the business. They've been doing this a lot longer than you have. They've seen a lot more than you have. Even as you've grown up, kind of watching from the sidelines, they've really been in it. So relying on them when you don't know maybe what to do, and trusting that, you know, they know what they're doing. Because you don't always
Exactly.
have to have the answers.
Woo, that's a good one. It's like a lifeline, isn't it?
Mhm.
How about for you, Shannon, as someone who over the next few years will be transitioning to a more minor role and then someday maybe a complete retirement? What advice would you have for parents that are going to be doing this in the future?
Communication is just so important. You have to pull the emotions out of it, even though you don't want to sometimes, and just logically throw the questions out there. You can say, I'm upset about it and angry about it, and, so they know, but communicate is so important. If something's done and you're not happy with it, you need to let people know. If not, if you just let it build, it's just going to blow. And that's one thing with all of our staff we do is communicate a lot, a lot.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So give me three adjectives um, that you would describe your daughter. When you look at her, give me three adjectives. If it's four or five, I'll take that too, but give me at least three. That's it.
Oh, let me see. My goodness, there's so many. Where do you even start? She's she is she's brilliant and dedicated and motivated and extremely smart, and her communications exponential. Golly, her her layout and process of things are incredibly um thorough, and yeah, she's just so great at everything she does. It's great.
Yeah, you do seem extremely brilliant, Ashley, and being a numbers person has allowed you to look at things to grow and systematize and simplify. A mind like that knows how to get to those numbers. So you are very brilliant.
Thank you.
Ashley, how about three or more adjectives that when you look at mom, these would be the way you would describe her?
Oh gosh, she's beautiful, motivated, headstrong, uh, which is a good thing.
Yes, actually.
Um, she's determined. She will do everything to not fail. And I know that's what she told my dad when they started the business is I will not fail. And here we are now.
Oh my gosh. The headstrong. My mom was extremely headstrong. It runs in our family. I'm a bit headstrong. My daughter is, my granddaughter. It's just something. And my mom always called it willfully determined. Anytime somebody would call her stubborn or headstrong, she goes, no, no, I'm just willfully
Love that.
determined. And it just sounds better than strong, stubborn, kind of, kind of thing. Oh
I feel
my,
like you have to be when you're starting a business. You know,
you do.
you
You,
can
you,
have a lot of self-doubt in that, and that can be tough and feel very lonely. And to have that, stubbornness, so to say,
yeah,
is crucial.
yeah. Ladies, I have so enjoyed this conversation and watching this beautiful bond. And Ashley, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what the future is for you. And of course, Shannon, I'm sure you're going to be spending more and more time with the grandbabies as they come. So you'll have a beautiful life. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And to those listening in today to the Franchise Woman podcast, make sure to like, comment, and share Ashley and Shannon O'Doer's interview today. And of course, we'll see you next week on another episode of the Franchise Woman podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships forged.